outbreak of monkeypox. It is considered a health emergency globally, and the National Public Health Institute that is supposed to be here, but due to some other engagements, they will come on Thursday to give details. But it's good to announce that they have acknowledged that the current wave of outbreak of monkeypox has also affected Liberia. They have got to confirm 5 cases, in Liberia, in 3 counties. For the purpose of the authority they have in the sector, they have advised that the rest of the details concerning the outbreak be left until Thursday, when Dr. Chris Piah, who is the head of the National Public Health Institute, will appear here and give a detailed picture of what has happened so far in Liberia. But it's important for our people to know that the outbreak has also affected Liberia and that monkeypox is here. Let's take all of the precautionary measures that are required so as to control the spread. The version of the monkeypox that is out looks deadly. So sometimes people say prevention is better than cure. The government is working around the clock through the National Public Health Institute and authorities of the Ministry of Health to put in all of the measures that are required to ensure that the disease does not spread in a way that it becomes a serious problem for our country and our people. That's what our government should do. We have gone through a lot. We had Ebola. We were resilient as a country and people. We defeated that. COVID came. The country did relatively well in combating that virus. And I believe we are in the right place based on all of the structures and mechanisms we built over the past when the other diseases broke out. We are much more prepared to deal with these emerging health situations than we were in the past. So basically, we urge people to be cautious, but there is no need for panic, as the government is fully doing what is required to ensure that the spread of the monkeypox disease is controlled. You know, Liberia is an interesting place. There are some of us who just take pleasure in bad news. If that bad news means our lives should be lost, they don't care. Once it is pleasing to them. We fought decades of war here. And there are some actors who stood with us. Even as airlines were coming and discontinuing, we all know Delta used to be here. Air France used to be here. As those airlines left our country, some have remained here. Brussels, Royal Air Morocco, they stood firm in helping us to make international travels easier. But yet there are some people in our midst who will be happy if the airplane was to crash and people die. So you wonder, and it's not reflective of the entire country, because Liberians are good people. But then you're constrained to wonder, who are these people who would prefer to see the blood but hundreds of people spilled just to satisfy a political ego. So a Royal Air Morale flight came to Liberia, landed safely. Well, maybe many of you have not traveled, so you don't know what that is. For those of us who traveled a lot, one of the critical points in your entire journey is when the plane is about to land. All of the calculations that are required got to be done perfectly. So by the time that flight is landing and hitting the runway, calculation is such that it does so very gently. If for any reason, maybe out of this calculation or something, and the point of landing, the impact is different and it's forceful, there are multiple possibilities that the flight or the plane can veer off the runway. I think a month ago, there was a plane crash in one of the Western nations. Crashed in a way that the plane successfully landed by a veer off the runway, burst into something else, and into flames. People died. That's how serious the situation concerning aircrafts are. And if we had a situation where the flight landed, the Royal Air Morale flight landed, as was explained by the airport authority, and the forceful impact of the landing led the plane off the runway, but the pilot did a good job in returning the plane to the runway without incident. And all some people could do, rather than thanking God for their fellow citizens who were on board the plane, was to give an indication that the plane crashed. And the plane crash was a result of no light at the airport. What pleases you with those kind of stupid lies? So if there's no light at the airport in the first place, the plane will not land. You've watched many occurrences in the past where Brussels Airlines came at the airport, attempted a descent. No electricity, the plane will redirect itself somewhere else. In most cases, as we found out, it went to Freetown. So just think that an airport will be out of electricity and the plane still lands, raises another question about the thought process of those who were making those comments that the plane crashed while landing because there was no electricity at the airport. No plane lands without electricity. They say it's crashing, then the pilot had no control. I say, well, you come down. When it's following the normal routine to land, once there's no electricity, it's not going to land. So why these funny, negative things and lies about your own country? The word crash means terrible accident. 99.9% of the time when a plane crashes, it's death. There's a difference between a plane crashing and a plane crash landing. In our situation, none was the case according to what the airport authorities have said. Except that the landing was a little bit forceful and the plane veered off the main runway into the grass. Thanks to maybe the capacity of the pilot, brought the plane back on the runway, went to the jet bridge, passengers got offloaded. As a matter of safety requirement, when they noticed that there were debris all over the plane, of course they had to ground the plane to launch an investigation which is ongoing. By the way, when a plane picks up at the airport, I have been in that situation before. And while picking up a bird, for example, goes into the wing, most times the pilot just turns around, right? It comes back on the road because you never know the impact of that bird that has gone in the wind, into the engine, what it would cost. Now I'm going to talk about debris all over the plane after a year of the road. So the best thing to do professionally was to say, no, this flight cannot leave until we investigate what happened, until we reach the point where it is determined that this plane is safe to fly, because there were passengers who should have gotten on board. So we just wanted to clarify to the population that there was no plane crash, and that it is not true that when the plane approached the airport, there was no electricity. For if there was no electricity, the plane would have diverted to somewhere else and not land. And I hope that settles the wishful thinking of the naysayers, who would prefer to see some of our citizens perish because it will satisfy them politically. I've always emphasized on behalf of the government the need to be more engaging when there are issues than taking the continuous path of violence. The Constitution of the Republic gives power to the President to appoint certain categories of public officials. When any group of people determine that the action of the President is unlawful, then the thing to do is not to be unlawful as well, because then you undermine your own moral standing. If you sincerely believe that something is unlawful, but your action is more unlawful, what moral ground do you have to even talk about something being lawful? So there are people in the municipal borough of Liberia who believe that the appointment of the governor is unlawful, suggesting they are champions of being lawful. What have they done? Did they seek lawful means to resolve their quote-unquote unlawful action? No. They've been lawless, they've been violent, and that's unacceptable. The president of your own remoter, Mr. Waleti, was there, doing what all of you know how to do best. Journalists, you go after the news. The young man was wounded in the head, and I'm sure all of you are aware. Compromising even the safety of journalists. But yet you say you're questioning something that you consider not to be lawful. You are lawless. You will kill the young man because the head is very sensitive. But yet you say you're resisting something that you consider unlawful. The government frowns on the increasing wave of lawlessness, and hence calls on all of our citizens to rethink this extent of lawlessness that is permeating the society, because we will reach the point of acting very decisively in these cases of lawlessness. You can't be so contradictory to yourself. You refer to a presidential action as being illegal, as being unlawful, and the redress you seek is violence, is vandalism, is trying to sow chaos and discourse, attacking and wounding journalists, and you call yourselves lawful people? Stop. We all cry around here and talk about jobs. We say we want to expand tourism. things when all people see about a country is a group of people who are lawless. For the sake of protecting or fighting for just an office of governor, you compromise the progress of the entire country by your lawless action. This is unacceptable. And they have got to stop. You know, sometimes I sit and I think about my late friend, Fantas Mani Mamani Diakete. Because he was always known for these lines. God have patience. Many of you who knew him will know that he would not speak for even 5 minutes before making reference to that. And it's true. Because sometimes when you sit and just listen, you ask yourself, is it the same person that was here yesterday, under whose watchful eyes chaos, lawlessness, tyranny reign, that is not a voice of redemption? Sometimes you ask yourself a hard question. People are so downistic to look for issues to talk about, not in a good way. Then what leaders will normally do, you take the time, you reflect, you consider issues very critically before you even make a contribution to them. Some with zero information can just talk. Maybe in anger. What's making you vexed? The people gave you 6 years. You squandered it. Some were not even tactical enough. To the extent that the first thing they did, they went to their own country, not even to the different country. They stood there and told the people, say, you join us, we'll take a job from you. Many of you are journalists, you know, we're in Bangladesh country. Senior leaders of the country, go talk to your people. Not talking development, not talking anything. You got to join us, or else we'll take a job from you. Some presided over political institutions here when all the bad things happened. In fact, they were affixing their signature to long listing and sending to government institutions. They employed people. We inherited some here. Placed in positions not qualified for. Jobs that are categorized by the civil service to be for certain level of people. Maybe you need to have a BSc to take a certain job. In that case, the whole high school graduate dropped out there. And so then you don't have to come to work. It's a matter of your name just being on the payroll, and every month you get your pay. So the civil service became blocked as a result of these actions. Ministers appointed by the president are not a payload for the work taking place in ministries and agencies. And those employees with their technical capacity and skills that are aiding those ministers and head of agencies to perform. So it's supposed to be a professional layer of people working to enhance the efficiency of government. Or compromise. And today, some of those people, like the day before, they think they can fool the population. They retreated from the political role they played, purporting to be civil society actors. yelling all over the place when they hear anything. You think our people are not smart? They know you well. Today you're questioning the initiative towards war crime and accounting for the years of the war. But yesterday you were all around the place demanding the establishment of war crime court. When you had a chance to come to power, and the institution you were heading had power for 6 years, you said nothing. But the very concept of war crime that you believed in then, now as the tenure on the political stage expired, hiding under the canopy of something called civil society. We know you. And the people know you. You can't fool them. They know general civil society organizations, the politically motivated institutions, pushing political agendas and calling themselves civil society organizations. The people are smarter than you think they are. You've got no moral standing to hear the way you are hearing. Perhaps you need some kind of baptism to cleanse you from your sins of the past. I want to, in the midst of all their politics, I want to pay tribute, an open tribute, not in the corner. Someone whose work has been linked to the Ministry of Information. They've impacted what we do here. They've impacted the country at large based on their work, consistent with the sector in which they work. And it's really unfair that at this press conference, we say something later. As you all know, the president named Mr. Kekura Kamara, affectionately called Balawala, as the ambassador for arts and culture. But it will be interesting to know that this is an honorary title. It's not a job, even though you saw the release when it says Ambassador for Art and Culture, Ministry of Information. That was just an acknowledgement that the work you do, the sector ministry that will collaborate with you is the Ministry of Information. But it's not a government job. It does not have an office at the Ministry of Information. The person occupying the office does not earn a monthly salary. So it's not a job. It's a title. Julie and Lee have held that title for a number of years. I'm told at one point 28 years, probably, or so. Appointed by former interim president Dr. Abrams Claudia Sawyer in 1994, when she was just a returnee who was actively involved in the promotion of Liberian culture. She has been leading the charge through social mobilization, folk songs, traditional performances, even when the bullets were moving about. She since became a towering figure, a cultural promoter, a brand ambassador of Liberian culture both at home and abroad, a former UNICEF Goodwill ambassador for children. Very instrumental in social mobilization, in the social mobilization drive to keep polio out of Liberia between 1997 to 2006. During the disarmament process, she was engaged in helping to disarm child soldiers. She is the founder of the Liberian Crusaders for Peace. She became one of the many Liberian trailblazers engaged in planning and realizing information campaign in the field of education, health, and culture. On behalf of the government and the Ministry of Information, we humbly pay homage to the Andy and thank her for her service. At the meantime, we encourage the new ambassador to step in and fit himself in the shoes that are now vacant well. As we've worked in the past with Ambassador Andy, the ministry stands ready to work with the incoming ambassador, because what comes out of this interaction should be the interest of our country. All of us who are in public sector or public service, whether you hold a permanent employment job, you hold some honorary title, there comes a time when you serve and a time to leave. And it's just not fair enough when every time an action is taken, all we do about them is politics and read meaning to everything. We believe Julie played her part. She runs a private group, the Crusader for Peace, which is involved in the very things that she focuses on as cultural ambassador. So nothing has changed. And based on what I know, I'm not sure she's offended by anything. And that is the reason why we commend her, we congratulate her for the role played. But even the Crusader for Peace remains a partner to the government and to the ministry. And those who believe that some kind of vindictiveness is taking place, I think many of you have not worked well to know President Piah. You found everything. So the same people are protesting all around here. Say, oh, that found different person to be better for 30 years. When you say different person here, you can't say which one. What do we want? Do we at all know what we want? Or we're just hungry for talking points? And what is more of interest is the very people who press us of yesterday will always be the first to yell, believing they now represent the voices of the people. Take your time. All the day you created here, without 6 years of cleaning, without even gone 5 months, you're yelling. Yelling does not solve anything. In fact, because you are the wrong messengers, the things you say, just for your own hearing, because the people know you better. Having said these, I invite the chairman of the board of the Liberia Telecommunication Authority, Commander Kamara, who will now address it.